Hello and welcome to Soapbox. I'm David Brown and this is your dedicated radiotimes.com podcast for soap opera fans. With me this week is Paul Simper.
Good morning.
Who's my special guest because Johnny is on holiday. Tell us a bit about yourself, Paul, and where can people find you online?
I'm a freelance journalist who loves his soaps amongst other things. And you can find me on Twitter at Simperman, which is Simperman.
I love that Twitter handle. It's like the lesser-known Marvel Cinematic Universe superhero.
It is the least successful in the whole brand.
Well, hopefully he'll get a bit of a profile boost because of this. Shall we go straight into a bit of EastEnders?
Yes.
So the big news of the week was that Danny Walters, who plays Keanu Taylor, is going to be leaving the programme very soon, which is a bit of a surprise, seeing as he's kind of front and centre in terms of the show's current plot lines, right?
Yeah, and it's only been, what was it, 2.5 years? So it's not. He's absolutely front and centre, isn't he? In Keanu.
Yeah, indeed.
We don't know exactly when, do we? But I guess the suggestion is that he may not survive Christmas.
Yeah, I'm thinking that because, the character of Keanu is currently expecting babies with two Walford heroines, Louise and Sharon. I don't think that Keanu's the type of person who would just run out on two babies. So
no, I think that is completely his in many respects his fate is sealed, because of the general decency in Keanu.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think he's going to be doing a runner. I think he's going to fall foul of Phil. Phil, who doesn't usually go to the point of murdering people, but perhaps Keanu will be like an accidental Christmas Day death. I could see that happening, couldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. And I like the fact we're in one of those periods at the moment where Phil has sort of disappeared, where it's like he's sort of in a cave somewhere, waiting to sort of unleash himself. I imagine for a very full Christmas.
Yeah, they always have to kind of come up with quite inventive reasons as to why Phil's not there. He just disappears for months at a time, doesn't he? It's crazy.
And sometimes they don't really even sort of reference it that much.
No.
It's just like, I'm off.
Yeah. I'm going to Spain. So anyway, back on the square though, we get the feeling that things are building up to all this coming out, Keanu's duplicity, because Mel has got this vendetta against Sharon, and from a trailer that was released, it looks like it's all going to culminate in a big car crash, which would mirror the the Steve Owen, Phil Mitchell chase from all those years ago. Would you like to see history repeat itself?
I would absolutely love to see it, possibly to a Spandau Ballet soundtrack as well, if they could work that in. Oh, I don't know, what would they go for? Only When You Leave, I suppose.
That would be good, yeah. And wouldn't it be good if teen Louise, was in the car with Mel at the time? Because, of course,
Baby Louise
was rescued by Phil at the last minute as the car exploded. So a gender swap version of that would be great, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So maybe that's to look forward to in the weeks ahead. So, on to Emmerdale now, which was a very big week for Moira and Kane. We need to discuss this because this last month I've been trying to come up with a reason as to why Moira cheated on Kane with Nate, and I've come up empty. But Moira gave us her reason this week, didn't she? She revealed why she'd been unfaithful.
Because I wanted to.
That was it, wasn't it? Because I wanted to.
I can't do a Scottish accent. So.
No, she just felt like it. And, I wasn't convinced by that, were you?
Neither was Kane. You could see it in, I say Kane's eyes. I don't know if it was Kane's or Jeff Hordley's eyes, but there was a distinct lack of disbelief, which he did then nicely turn around by then sleeping with Kerry and using the line back, the Billy Piper, because we want to.
Yeah, that's right.
Song playing.
I think they needed to have invested a little bit more reason behind the duplicity. I mean, it didn't really feel that there were many ructions in their relationship or reasons for Moira to have strayed.
No, Kane just going off to Scotland as well. There's things like FaceTime now, and it wasn't like he joined the Foreign Legion, was it?
No, phone nookie. Is that what you were proposing? for Kane and Moira.
What about Emmerdale later?
Yes, Emmerdale After Hours. So, yeah, I think that would... It just kind of felt that the actors weren't convinced by what they were having to play out. Yeah. And it all seemed like it had just been totally manufactured for this paternity revelation, which has come to nothing. You know, we haven't really seen the aftermath of that at all. It's like Nate hasn't even been on screen almost.
Well, the weird thing as well is because, particularly now that you've discovered that it wasn't Kane's fault that Nate was, you know, sort of cut out of the picture. That was all, essentially to do with Faith in a way, but also just the fact that Shadrach was such a hideous bigot, you know. So Faith actually did a decent thing in the first place. Kane was none the wiser at all. Once Nate discovered that, you know, it doesn't seem to then lead anywhere. No, you know, and Faith for a start is gone.
Yeah.
I don't really see what's going to come of that.
No. Thankfully, there has been a little bit of character progression elsewhere with Mandy, who I was starting to despair of. It seemed like the sole reason why she'd been reintroduced was to perform these Poundland Baby Driver plot lines where she was scamming casinos. But has she earned your sympathy a little bit more this week?
Well, yes, I'm very happy that because she's sort of strong arms Charity into this, but she is now the official Woolpack new barmaid, and it just seems. I mean, I love Lisa Riley as an actor, and I just think, you know, it was very exciting bringing her back. We'd had that sort of weird thing where she came back briefly in January, and then
did nothing.
Did nothing. Didn't offer an explanation why she was doing nothing. No. Didn't even tell Vinny, although obviously Vinny was in on this.
Yeah.
But now it just seems absolutely putting her in the Woolpack, you know, is perfect for her. She's properly grounded. She was immediately being rude to Rona, chatting up Dan, you know, and just looks to be completely in her element. I don't know how long she's back for, but I hope now it's a proper amount of time and that she properly beds in there.
It gives her new characters to bounce off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
New people to play against. I'm still none the wiser as to what the connection is with Vinny. Are they lovers? Are Mandy and Vinny lovers? I'm hoping not.
I'm hoping not. Yeah, you know, one doesn't like to judge, but there's just Let's see. I don't know, but I'm sort of hoping
they're just partners in crime.
Partners in crime, not grime.
Let's leave that one there. Let's leave Emmerdale there as well. Finally, then, we'll move on to Coronation Street, and it looks as though there's a new waif and stray coming onto the show next week for Roy to look after.
A new niece, Nina.
Yeah, that's right.
Which has all come about through, I'm not sure, he discovers his half-brother. Who's
played by Paul Bound. Do you remember him from Watching?
I vaguely remember what was Watching. What was the sit of?
He was a bird watcher.
Oh,
called Malcolm, and his love interest was Emma Ray. Do you remember she sung the theme tune, Dennis Waterman style? I'm not going to do it now, but it's long forgotten. Lisa Tarbert was in it as well, and Perry Fenwick was in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's a bit of a, you know, lost in the mists of time 1980s Granada sitcom. But yeah, so Paul Bound will be in it next week, and his on-screen daughter is this Nina character who's a bit of a goth, isn't she?
Played by Molly Gallagher,
that's
whose first TV role, I think it is.
Yeah, that's right. So the half-brother of Roy, is going to turn out to be ill.
Yeah.
And we can presume that Nina will end up, you know, at the cafe. But I think this is a good move because they've tried to kind of give Roy a romance since Hayley died with Melanie Hill's character Kathy, and it didn't really work, did it?
No offense to her. It just it just didn't. It felt. I think it will always feel too soon after Hayley.
He's a one-woman man, I think, Roy. Yeah. But yeah, where he excels is when he's paired with these lost souls. These, you know, he's there's been so many of them, hasn't there? Becky and
Fizz,
Kylie, even Carla. I think I would bracket.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and in a way, with the progression recently, Carla's sort of got her life sorted again. So it has left Roy a bit, you know, just sort of
rudderless.
Rudderless, sorting people in the calf, and that's been about it. So Nina seems the perfect sort of outsider project for Roy to get sort of stuck into. And
definitely. I mean, what's always great about Roy is that when he's outside of his comfort zone, you get the idea that he would really like to keep everyone at a distance. It's a strange kind of outlook for someone who runs a cafe. But when he's forced into being this protective father figure,
he commits.
Yeah, and that's when you see a really nice side to his character. So I'm looking forward to them running with that, because it has been missing element of his personality.
Yeah, and David Nielsen plays all those notes so beautifully, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So.
And talking about father-daughter relationships,
yes,
we've also got Emma and Steve, which has played out this week on screen, right?
She calls him Dad for the first time, which was a really lovely moment. And, and you see it sort of hang there. And then she's like, I won't do that again. And then I think he says, doesn't he? It's like, but from the moment you were born, I was your dad.
Yeah.
Which she could have disputed at that point in a way, but it was actually really lovely.
Yeah.
And I think, that's bedded that down. And what I really love about it is it's now brought her and half sister Amy Barlow. I think they're a really good combo.
Yeah, they've been brought into each other's orbit, haven't they?
Yeah.
Because up till now, Amy, although it's been fun, the characterization of Amy, this kind of proto-Tracy, it is slightly kind of, we know what the shtick is now, isn't it?
Sure.
She's sarky. She's almost like a sitcom kid who's wise beyond her years. The type that you used to get in the 1980s. She's like Arnold Drummond from Different Strokes. She just comes in with the put downs, doesn't she? But now maybe we'll see a softer side to her now that she's kind of got this sibling bond with Emma.
Yeah, because we're just seen a little bit more, hadn't we, with the whole baby thing with Tyler, which had sort of opened up a little bit as a character.
That's right.
But this feels, and I kind of like the fact that Amy has really claimed Emma as, she's like, you're coming round ours.
Yeah,
you're going to do this with me. She's been very sort of proactive about the whole thing. Yeah, I think they're a great dynamic together.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they keep hold of Emma, because she's a real sparky presence on screen, but she's the type of person who I imagine casting directors would be looking at and thinking, I could imagine her having a career beyond Corrie.
Oh, well, I mean, Alexandra Marden and Lucy Fannin are two of those, aren't they?
Yeah.
Where you just thought, these are absolute gold, but they're going to be nabbed as soon as they possible. And which I think the good thing is that, hopefully from a sort of storylines point of view, it keeps everyone on their mettle to, I mean, Bethany needs looking after, doesn't she, as a character?
I'm a bit worried about Bethany.
Yeah, I am.
I mean, I think she's kind of like, the writers don't really know what to do with her, because they know that she's leaving. They know that Lucy Fallon's leaving. And she just keeps on being put into these positions where she's thrown into other people's plot lines and made out to be the villain. I'm hoping she gets something a little bit more positive to do before we say goodbye.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it particularly in the last one with Sinead, it was just there was no need to double down, was there?
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's perhaps time for us to say goodbye, but before we go, I'd just like to point you in the direction of Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. That's where you'll find us. Head over to radiotimes.com/soap newsletter for all the latest analysis, news and gossip, and radiotimes.com/soaps, which is always updated on a daily basis with all the latest cliffhangers and casting news. And we'll be back in a week's time. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.